Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ACS Universe Podcast. I am ACS, and this is episode 2. And ironically, I'm going to be talking mostly about episode 2 of season 8 of Game of Thrones, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Legitimately one of the greatest episodes in this entire series. It was so good, and it's like I'm going to give you my ranking again right off the top. 10 out of 10. It reminded me, every time I watch it this week, it's reminded me exactly why I love this show so much. Because they can throw episodes at you like that with like straight impending doom coming in the future. But right in the middle of that, they can entertain you like no other. But I'm gonna start this one kind of on a kind of a down note. When I first started doing YouTube videos, it was just trailer reactions. And then I kind of moved on into like doing videos where I just sat there and talked about shit I liked for a while. And so I was already a fan of Game of Thrones at that time. And I started my YouTube channel like a few months, like 2 months before season 7 started. And though I wanted to try to do an episode reaction, I thought I might be able to. The camera I was using, which I still have it, it's a sweet camera. It takes great pictures and video. It's categorized as a camera, not a video camera. So I can only record legitimately like 20 minutes of footage at a time. If you ever had to deal with something like that and you make YouTube videos, you know that's a pain in the fucking ass right there to try to, especially with something like an episode reaction. So I wasn't able to do it, but I vowed. I said, you know what? Season 8 is going to come out and I'm going to react to every single episode. And season 8 came. And the first episode I reacted to it. It's doing pretty good on YouTube right now. The one I did with my family where they're a tad bit wild, but it's got a lot of views too, actually. And so I was going to do the same with episode 2 of season 8. And I was going to watch the episode at my best friend's house. He's got a theater room that's fucking awesome. And this would have only been like the second time that I would have been able to watch an episode of my favorite show of all time on the big screen. That's the closest I'm gonna get to seeing it in the movie theater, is watching it at his house. And so we got there, prepped it up, and set the video to record. Or if you've ever watched a movie in the movie theater, you know that the brighter the room is, the quality is sacrificed on the screen. Like the brighter you make the room, the less the screen looks worse. In other words, if you've ever and it's not a Marvel movie, you've been at the movie theaters and you know, the movie goes, credits start rolling, you get up to leave, and then they bring the lights up, and you see how hard it is to see what's on the screen. So we could only make it so bright in there. And I did it the best I could. And when I got done with it, it was late. So we left, came home, and I didn't really get to check out the footage until the next day because I had to get up, go to work early the next morning. And so when I looked at it, heartbreaking. It looked terrible. It was so dark that you could barely see my face. It was bad. And so I tried editing it and it didn't work. So I said, you know what? I guess I just won't have a reaction to episode 2 of this season. And I was just going to do a podcast like I'm doing now where I talk about it. But I thought about it for a day. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to let this thing kick my ass. I'm going to edit this thing. So I got off work, spent hours and hours editing it. It's still dark. It still looks like crap. I talked to a couple people and I was like, look, I'm gonna upload it and let you check it out and tell me what you think. And so Danielle was actually the first one to see it, and she said, hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's dark, but you know, it gets lighter. She's basically looking at it more of a positive note. And so I uploaded. It's on YouTube right now. Go check it out. I'm telling you, it's really dark, but you know, you could at least hear us reacting to the best moments in the episode. And so let's jump right into it. A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I mean, right off the rip, it begins just like episode 1 ended. Basically, Jaime's on trial. Daenerys is giving him the business. Brienne stands up for him. They end up letting him stay. You know, she gives that little, you know what I'm saying, stab at Tyrion again because it's like he's failed her again, whatever. Look, Tyrion is one of my favorite characters in the show. He's gotten a little gullible lately, but I think that's just because of things that he like deep down inside wants to happen. He wanted to believe that Cersei was going to tell the truth. So he believed that, right? And you know, that's weird. It's odd that the last season ended with him in there talking to Cersei, and it never showed what they talked about. He just said, "Are you pregnant?" And then it just cut away. So everybody was wondering, like I was wondering too, like was he talking about some shady shit? And it turns out I don't think he was talking about anything. Because if it is, it's only going to come to fruition later on in this season because it hadn't yet. Yeah, so Jamie's pretty much on trial. He gets out of that shit. I was happy about that. I was kind of scared. I was like, I know y'all ain't finna do this dude in right now. But they didn't. And so, I'm going to jump around because I jump around. I warned you guys about that in the very first episode of my podcast. Arya and Gendry. What the fuck, right? Like that shit. Look, a lot of people out too. They were happy about it. Not that I wasn't happy about it, you know. But it's like I seen Arya all these seasons, all these years, like a little sister, right? Who's kind of grown up into her own, who's killing motherfuckers, and she's a badass assassin, the baddest assassin in Westeros. And to see her straight clapping Gendry's cheeks, man, it's supposed to be the other way around, but I think she took control in that situation because he was the one passed out sleep afterwards, and she was just laying there, like, what was that look on her face too? Was it that she wasn't sure if it was as good as she thought it was going to be, or maybe she's thinking she should have chose Podrick or something? It's crazy, but yeah, that's doing. I mean, the foreshadowing for that was all episode. When she first comes up on him and she's like, "You done with my weapon yet?" And he's like, "No, I ain't done with your weapon yet." And she throws him 3 fucking dragon glass daggers, and he's smiling like, "Oh, that was a turn on right there, right?" And then that shit happened, which wasn't that surprising. That scene right before that, I like that, where she's sitting up there with the hound, outside with the drink and all of that stuff, and then she straight up just clapped Gendry's cheeks. That shit's crazy. All right, so that I don't know why I just jumped ahead to that. That's obviously farther ahead in the episode, but and man, what's up with Daenerys, man? People were talking shit about her after the first episode, and I was like, you know, it's Daenerys. But what that moment when she sat down and talked with Sansa, that shit was awesome until the fucking end of the conversation, right? Like Sansa's like, well, what about the North? Daenerys, I know you want the throne. I know she wants the throne. I know that's been her journey the entire fucking time, was to get to the throne. But you can't let them have the North. Like, what's it gonna hurt you? They're not gonna uprise and try to take the fucking throne from you. They don't want that shit. They just want the North. And the way she reacted to it was just like, no, I have to. I have to have all of it. No, the fuck you don't, Daenerys. Let them have the North. If you all make it out of this shit alive, because it's not that serious, honestly. Especially the way that these people have treated you thus far. Like, let them have the fucking North. Just let them have the North. And then the scene right after that, man, it's awesome. Theon shows up. That shit makes your eyes water up a bit. He's like, you know, I want to fight for Winterfell. I want to fight for the Starks if you'll have me. She teared up. I mean, that dude, Theon, might be one of the most well-rounded characters in this fucking series. Because you've seen him at a high, go down real low, high, low, high, low. Remember when he jumped off that ship and left Yura on the fucking boat with, oh man, I was so mad at that dude. And now it's like, Theon is one of my favorite characters, and I don't even want to think about how he goes. If he goes, he might survive. They might decide that this is that motherfucking dude, and they might let him live. Not too sure that's gonna happen, but that scene was one of my favorites of the episode. Jamie and Brienne, okay? So, you know, he sees her down in the courtyard, training and shit. Podrick down there looking like a fucking beast. You know what I'm saying? Working dudes, looking at Brienne every time he works a dude, like, yeah, I'm that dude now. We'll see what happens when he's, you know, face to face with some fucking White Walkers. But anyway, so Jamie comes down there, and this scene too, man. This scene too. He says, "I'm not the fighter I used to be. If I could fight under your command." And she's like, "Yeah." And then she takes off. But I'm like, this is great. This is great. This is why this series is so fucking awesome. This is why this series is so amazing. And Bran. Okay, look. I'm gonna talk about Bran all the time just because Bran's weird and I fucking like it. Bran, so when they're in the war room, right, and they're doing this battle strategy and they're all there, all these characters are there at the same time, which is awesome within itself, right? All these characters that we've grown with throughout the series, all right there. And so Bran just starts blurting out shit that they might needed to know before the fucking battle strategy thing they're doing. Like, some of that shit, because it has his mark on me. I'm like, they might have needed to know that the fucking Night King had his goddamn mark on you, right? That's some crazy shit to just put out at that moment in time when the fucking Night King's like, I don't know, 25 minutes away, 30 minutes away. Fucking, because it tell you when Tormund gets there, he says before the next morning comes, before sunrise, the Night King's gonna be here. And also, I had been thinking this, and I was gonna wait till my podcast to put this theory out there. I'm sure I'm not the first one to put it out there. I probably just hadn't seen it, and then my buddy PJ messaged me with this theory. Where the fuck is the Night King at? The preview for episode 3, and when they show up at the end, he's not there. They don't even show the Night King. They don't even show the fucking dragon. What if that dude's gone to King's Landing? What if he went with Viserion, flew that motherfucker to King's Landing with a small little army of White Walkers? But he might not even need a small army of White Walkers, because if he goes to King's Landing, just him and the dragon, he's fucking some stuff up. Excuse me. And then he could just change, like they said. And you know, they did iterate that point last season. They said it a couple of times that there's millions of people in King's Landing. Think about that now. Think about 1 million motherfuckers added to his army of already over 100,000. It's kind of scary to think about that, because, you know, that would mean like the people I love on the show are for sure fucking kicking the bucket. But anyway, yeah, they're doing this battle plan, and he's like, we should hide you in the crypts. He's like, nah, I ain't going to the crypts. We need to lure him out. Sansa's like, use you as bait. Bran's like, yeah, you gotta use me as bait. I'm the whole time thinking, Bran still waited till this very fucking moment to tell y'all that he was marked by the goddamn Night King. Like, seriously, Bran? But he tells him, Sam gives this smooth speech about, like, if he was a Night King, if he wanted to destroy history and everything like that, that's the person he would go for. And so, that's one of the better scenes in the look, I'm gonna say it again. This is one of my favorite episodes in this entire series. Think about that now. Think about that. What is that? So far, we've got what? See, 67. Is this 69 episodes? 70? Fuck, I can't remember. Too much math for me right now. Another scene. Get right to it. When all of them are sitting by the fire, trying to find some place to get warm, and they all start drinking. Tormund's in there talking about the giant held her, suckled him at her teat for 3 fucking months. That shit was funny. that chemistry that they all had together, you only get that from Game of Thrones, right? You only get that where the characters haven't seen each other, but behind the scenes they see each other, but they haven't on screen done scenes together in so long. And then they finally do, and it comes together like it was always meant to be. Great fucking scene. It was funny. Yeah, super funny scene. Tormund is one of those characters that you don't want to see go. I think he might go in this next episode. Which, getting to this next episode, I'm gonna throw a little. I'm going to see Avengers Endgame later on. From all I'm hearing is that it's kind of heartbreaking and it's awesome. I don't know how that is going to have my psyche, my mind, my body, and what place is going to lead me to watch this episode of Game of Thrones Sunday night. Characters are dying. Like, I mean, there's no way they're going to kill just one. And it's, I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I'm going to probably watch my favorite character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe die later on tonight. And then Sunday, I'm going to have to watch several beloved characters from the greatest series of all time, Game of Thrones, get killed. I don't know that I'm ready for that. But back to sitting by the fire and the camaraderie and that great chemistry, that scene. And Podrick just breaks out with the song and it shows like a little montage of scenes. And I'm thinking to myself watching it like, this is the greatest series in the history of motherfucking series. I know I've said that several times. I say it again. And I'm not going to say arguably, this is the greatest scene in this episode, which is one of the best episodes in the history of this series. Brienne being knighted. I mean, who does it better? Tell me, man. Name a show that does it better with a moment like that, with what's coming and what has already happened. They throw a moment in there like that. It was so satisfying. I ain't gonna lie, man. It kind of made the eyes water up just a tad bit. The smile on her face, like after it's done. I mean, you can't make this shit up. Like it's made up, but you know what the fuck I mean. When Jamie says that, any knight can knight somebody. And I was like, oh, are they about to knight her? Like, how cool is that? And then as the scene's happening, you're thinking, this is better than cool. This is like fucking amazing. And so it happens, and it's one of the satisfaction you got from seeing that. Knowing what Brienne has done. She's been a badass this entire series. Seeing her like get rewarded for that, I guess, for being like the most to me, she's the most honorable fucking character on the show. Besides John. And so seeing her stand up after that, Tormund clapping had me fucking rolling, and see her stand up and like, you could tell that's like a dream of hers. Been a dream of hers since she was probably fucking, 6 years old or some shit like that. So that scene happens, and then it rolls on into John. I didn't like this part. Not enough to knock the episode down a notch, but I didn't want him to tell her that before the battle. Because now I feel like throughout this entire battle of Winterfell, that shit's going to be in the back of her mind. And I just don't want something to happen in that battle because he told her that. And hey, I feel her. She's like, isn't this perfect? Isn't this just perfect timing that your brother and your best friend tell you that you and not me am the heir to the Iron Throne? And yeah, so I just thought that was something that could have waited. The scene's intense, and neither one of them, though, to me, looked like Daenerys kind of just looked like it bothered her because that meant she wasn't the heir. Not because her nephew's been clapping her cheeks, man, for the past couple months on the ship, right? Like that didn't seem to bother her at all. It was, so now we'll make you the last male heir to the Iron Throne. That's not all I'd be worried about. I'd be worried that my nephew has been tearing it up for like however long it took him to get there on the ship. But yeah, so that pretty much rounds out the episode. Like I said, one of the best ones. Had a lot of great moments, a lot of Game of Thronesy type things in it that the first episode of the season, of this final season, didn't have in it. And so I'm not looking forward to Sunday night. I am looking forward to Sunday night. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know what's going to happen. There's so much online of people saying what they think is going to happen. And I just don't know. I don't know. And I don't want to. All I will say that I'm sure of is that characters that I love will die Sunday night. And another thing too, I was thinking about this. You kill a beloved character on the show, White Walkers kill him, leave him fucking dead. Don't bring him back as White Walkers. So that's like 2 times the heartbreak, right? Because you bring him back as a White Walker, then they're going to have to get killed again. You know what I'm saying? That's why, like, Hodor, if I had to see Hodor as a White Walker, I'd be fucking pissed off. Like, why do that? Do you know what I'm saying? And I also think that they might do that, right? So yeah, man. This is shorter than the last one, I guess. I don't know how long I've been sitting here talking. I kind of don't look at the time because I don't want to feel like I have any like restraints on trying to get this podcast out to you guys. But I'll be seeing you guys Sunday night, I guess. Well, my reaction probably won't be edited and out till like Tuesday morning, to be quite honest, because it just takes me a long time to do it, and I also have to work in between that, and it's kind of crazy. But hey, hats off and kudos to all you people who have y'all's, reactions out like legitimately 20, 30 minutes after the episode airs. I wish I could be as cunning, get those early likes and views, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not. But eventually I'll get it to you guys, and I promise it won't be as dark as this one I just put out. Hope you guys have enjoyed this podcast, episode 2 of the ACS Universe Podcast. Oh, and before I forget, give a special shout out to Jamie from Sis Nerdly. She's on YouTube. She does kick-ass reactions and shit, for fighting through the technical difficulties and getting your reaction up this week. I guess I did the same thing. Whatever. See y'all next time. ACS Universe Podcast out.